There is no clear equation for finding the one. The good news is that there are specific indications that you're with the person you should be with forever. And if you desire to get married, these signs may indicate that you've finally discovered your sole love of your life. If such is the case, consider these signs that you might be dating, or at the very least, long-term committed to, the person you plan to be with forever. These will aid you in determining long-term compatibility, but remember that not every aspect of your partner needs to be met. What you and your boyfriend find compelling will probably not work for another couple, but they should be checked off based on your priorities. Here are the 10 signs your boo is for keeps. 10. Your personalities are pretty different. According to Rory Sarsoon, co-owner of the matchmaking service Platinum Poir, a regular Real Housewives of New York dating expert, and author of The Art of the Date, you don't want to marry your carbon copy. It's dull. Naturally, this doesn't mean you have nothing in common, we'll get to the essential similarities in a second, but it does mean you get the fun of discovery while knowing you're still compatible. You want to be able to admire and learn from the person you're with so you can be the best version of yourself, she continues. For instance, it's common to have distinct love languages, which can also be crucial to your dynamic. Sarsoon explains, let's assume physical touch is your top love language, but acts of service are your spouse's leading love language. You want to delight your partner while ensuring he is also taking care of you. Love languages allow you to have your cake and eat it, too, so to speak. Can we respect that we know what makes that person tick? When you have a story to tell, you always turn to him. You and him each have your things going on, but you can discuss them together. Even though they lack expertise, you value their point of view, and you can learn from one another. Everything you would tell your parents and friends is also on the table here. You are never short of topics to discuss. It constantly feels like a discovery, a new hobby you weren't aware of, a tale from their background, or a viewpoint he chooses to express. Although you both know that you react to circumstances differently, working together is pleasurable. 9. He sets and is open to boundaries. Boundaries might be the most wholesome component of a relationship, even if the other person doesn't speak therapy language. It speaks to his love for you, and for themselves, when he gives you space when you need it, recognizes an apology, asks your permission when he's unsure of how you feel, appreciates your differences, or sets his boundaries. Discussing each person's needs and preferences regularly can be seductive since these things can always change. It's incredibly sexy if you can talk to that person. You had a fantastic day, you had a bad day, you want to have sex tonight, you don't want to have sex, says Sarsoon. People constantly say, communication is lubrication. They respect what you want and need and the other way around, so there's no need for guesswork or games. They respect your inflexible demands. They recognize that you have other responsibilities, such as weekly Thirsty Thursdays with your friends or Sunday dinners with your parents. The most crucial thing, though, is that they don't attempt to put these boundaries down, talk you out of them, or disrupt them, according to behavior consultant and therapist Marie Verano. He frequently questions your boundaries. He wants to know your comfort level and whether they are fulfilling it. Again, he might not be aware that he is specifically requesting information about limits, but he is aware that he wants you to feel secure and in control. 8. You have healthy conflicts. In any long-term relationship, disagreements and disputes are not only to be expected, but if you both handle them maturely, they may also serve as evidence that your partnership is healthy. According to Lissy, intact dialogue and proper emotional expression from both counterparts are positive signs. Recurring disputes about the same issue, resentment, or contempt would be red signs. Nevertheless, Lissy adds that you shouldn't be very concerned if any of these sound familiar. Couples counseling is a fantastic technique for addressing these problems. Healthy conflict, according to Dr. Popple, entails not wearing your partner's shit just because your partner is angry, upset, etc. Doesn't mean you have to match their emotions. Let your partner speak words to what is bothering them, ask them what they need from you to help them, and don't react to their problem or concerns. If he does this, it's a great sign. He is open to criticism. Even if you don't wish to alter who he is as a person, he pays attention and tries to improve when you voice your displeasure over something he did. And you follow suit. Without constantly arguing, it is possible to accomplish things like vacations together. You can achieve tedious, routine tasks with your boo without much conflict. However, even if you know it's not the end of the world and will work together to find a solution, you can still feel frustrated with one another when your 18-hour flight is delayed overnight at the airport. 7. He appreciates you. An essential, and perhaps underrated, aspect of a relationship is having a sense of appreciation and thanks. According to Sassoon, both people feel like the lucky ones, as if they've won the love jackpot. There is no ulterior motive, it is pure. It's not like saying, look at the package, they are gorgeous or successful. You contribute something fantastic to the table, and you walk around feeling so glad to be with that person. He constantly extols your virtues. He can't help but tell everyone you hang out with before you even think to mention it if you earn a promotion at work, or even win concert tickets, since he is your strongest supporter, arguably next to your mom. He does not attempt to change you. He is aware of your messy nature, a constant need for a companion cat, an inability to cook to save your life. All of this is acceptable. Although nobody is perfect, you embrace each other for who they are. He doesn't put any deadline on what they see as your flaws, nor does he wait for you to better all the time. Don't demand anything from your spouse, says Dr. Valerie Popple, a clinical sexologist and co-founder of the Swan Center. She adds that this removes tension and ungratefulness from your relationship. 6. You have good sexual chemistry. It will probably not work if your guy seems terrific on paper, but you don't have any chemistry or spark sexually. If you and your spouse are going to spend the rest of your lives together, you don't want to feel terrible about the lack of sexual chemistry between you two. Likewise, you don't want your partner to feel guilty, either. According to relationship expert and professional psychotherapist David Bennett, if you are with the one, good sex and sexual chemistry are vital. But it's also important to remember that your relationship shouldn't depend solely on this. Sassoon says, but here's the catch. You must identify the difference between true love and an outstanding orgasm. Popple adds, I see that time and time again in our practice. Couples had a great sexual attraction in the beginning with hot and heavy sex, but as time and experiences interplay in their relationship, they begin to fray, because they never took the time to identify the difference between true love and an outstanding orgasm. Unexpectedly, he compliments you on how attractive you are. And it's the day you didn't put on makeup, dry your hair, or even get out of your sweats. They find you to be attractive in general. You still can't wait to jump their bones after a long hiatus, even though it's been years. If you find yourself eager to go and feel restless in the baggage claim, because you can't wait to see your significant other, you know it's for real. Sure, you already live together, and you know sex is definitely on the table after you return from your work trip or vacation. You feel comfortable engaging in sexual experimentation, or bringing up potentially awkward sex topics, such as talking about your kinks. He won't judge you, and you know the same about him. It has a beautiful, open feeling. 5. He is good at handling stress. These previous several years have probably demonstrated to you what your partner is like under pressure, but regardless of the situation, it's essential to observe how they respond to adversity. Think about the epidemic. Do they shut down? Do they communicate? Do they withdraw? Are they MIA? In life, there's going to be stuff that happens, says Sassoon, so when couples suffer a mini-crisis together, you genuinely know who a person is. I have repeatedly said, if your relationship survived 2020, you are indestructible. You made it through a distant relationship. It was frightening and challenging, but because you care about each other so much, you made the necessary compromises to get through it with just one aim in mind: to stay together after it was all done and live in the same area. You won't feel ashamed to cry in his presence, and vice versa. When you need to express your worries, fears, rage, or other negative feelings, you can be vulnerable with one another. They know when to be concerned and when you are merely engrossed in a movie scene. And they are aware of the need to support your self-care. 4. He's constantly changing for the better. He is not always the same person you first encountered him. According to Popple, going from relationship to relationship is far easier than choosing to stay in the present and work on your current one. Your partner's views, values, and beliefs will shift with life experiences, time, and energy, much like tides, she says. However, the real intimacy in a relationship comes from managing that change. You have many relationships throughout your life, and preferably you get to have them with the same person, as therapists like to say. He is committed to his personal development, while also encouraging yours. According to Verano, anyone who is worth marrying won't be scared by your dedication to your personal ambitions. They will see this as a strength. Any long-term healthy partnership involves the ability to develop and evolve together, she adds. For you, he makes sacrifices, and you are willing to reciprocate. If you land a new career or complete graduate school, he'll relocate to live with you. To take advantage of one of their opportunities, you are excited to go forward. You are there when he changes course, and the opposite is true. 3. He is kind and generous to you. Although it can seem like a given, this is a crucial element of your relationship, and should not be overlooked. According to a study conducted by renowned relationship expert John Gottman, generosity and kindness are the two main characteristics that predict whether a relationship will continue. This individual may be the one, says Bennett, if your partner exhibits these qualities and respects you properly. Even after spending years together, he shows you little acts of bravery. You know, when your feet hurt from wearing uncomfortable shoes all day and you can't stand to walk another block, like hold doors for you or carry you to your house. Your pleasure is significant to him. He creates events that he is sure you will like. He doesn't rely on you to handle everything, and he recalls that you expressed interest in seeing that new eatery or museum exhibit. He tells his concern for you. You're on his mind in a good way, whether he texts you randomly or sends you the link to an interesting article you'll appreciate. 2. He's honest with you. It's not good if you find yourself trying to hide or defend simple things like the fact that you treated yourself to a splurge item after a tough week. It's a positive sign if you two can be open and honest with one another and don't feel the need to keep anything from your partner. He has ensured you are familiar with his family and connected with yours. If you are close to your family, he won't hesitate to call them. You make sense in attending his nephew's birthday celebration. He has your family's trust, just as you have his. Your other friendships and family ties improve and solidify even further. According to clinical psychologist Rebecca Montgomery, PhD, healthy partners promote our other relationships and frequently urge us to reach out to friends, prioritize them, and make time for the areas of our lives outside of the relationship that offers us joy. He allows you to vent without making you panic. Sometimes you need to review something again, if it is frustrating you. He does not become irritated by this. When speaking to him, you don't feel the need to downplay how offended you were by your friend's passive-aggressive remark. You are confident he won't view your outrage as petty or pass judgment on you. 1. He feels like home. You are authentic around him. Ingrid Thayer, the founder of Relationship Coaching and Coupling, adds that it's not a feeling of butterflies, but rather a growing sense of comfort as the relationship develops. Butterflies are for the first dates, which is fantastic, but it should develop into a feeling of ease. Similar to going downstream. You need to be on the correct path if it seems like you are swimming upstream. For you, this individual is a source of light through difficult times. According to registered psychologist Mark Escher Miller, no matter what is happening in the world for you, you feel secure emotionally, physically, and psychologically with a sense of all is well with the world. In the presence of friends, you don't feel embarrassed to express your happiness. This is not a relationship that needs to be constantly worked out over brunch or in a group text. When you talk about this person, you're usually bragging about a recent accomplishment or how wonderful your weekend getaway was. You're madly in love, and you couldn't be happier. The thought of spending the rest of your days with him is the most excellent part of being married to him, not the ceremony itself. While the wedding is enjoyable, you truly can't wait for the 2 weeks immediately following, when you'll have a private honeymoon. And, well, every day after that. That's it. Did we miss anything? Comment below your own signs your boo is the one for life. If you like this content on love and relationships, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you soon, loves.